Mackenzie Rivers, 5 weight.
Give me the New England Patriots. And I was talking to Scott here in pre-production, and he's like, the Patriots, they're terrible. All right. I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm not sure the Colts are much better.
That's my 3 weight. Go, Mackenzie.
Let's go. I love
go.
confirmation from the only 2-time winner of the Super Contest, Steve Fezzik. I looked at non-turnover line of scrimmage EPA. So it's kind of just takes out all the random plays of turnovers, takes out special teams, just looks at how you do on a play-to-play basis. The Patriots, since Drake May starts in week 6, they're 21st. The Colts are 22nd. 4 of those starts are Richardson starts. 3 of those starts are Flacco starts. So I would argue their true stats are probably a little bit worse than that. So not only are they worse than the Patriots over that time frame, they probably are worse than that.
Hold on a second. Hold on. You're saying that having the Flacco stats in there help or hurt the overall stats?
Help the overall stats.
Yeah, and I think Flacco's
I'm not sure that's true. After he played one good game and 2 of the worst games we've ever seen.
I know. I saw a stat that showed the Flacco's had the better year than Richardson. I was really surprised.
I mean, the PFF and QBR is pretty distinct. Richardson's 32nd in PFF at 60. Joe Flacco's 65. QBR, Flacco's 55. Richardson's 45. So I've maintained. I know he had those bad games. Richardson, as bad as he's been. Or as bad as Flacco was, Richardson was worse.
All right.
So basically, I think the Patriots, this is as Dave Essler would say, WTF game. Wrong team is favored. At home, this line was Colts -2 in the summer. And I get when you look at the overall record, it seems the Patriots seems to be downgraded. Colts should be upgraded. I disagree. And fourth quarter win share kind of confirms what I was thinking. Patriots are 3-9, but their expected wins are 3.5. Colts 5-7, their expected wins are 4.0. So barely any different. Just when you look at the record, 5 is a lot more wins than 3.
And now we've had a downgrade for one team at quarterback and an upgrade for the other team at quarterback. That was a professional handicap, Mr. Rivers.
That's what I was going to say, actually. I don't agree with it. But
hey, I'll take it.
I have a non-professional handicap on this game. I have the Patriots under 5, RJ. And I'm looking at this, and I'm just expecting, like in the Big Lebowski, John Goodman coming out with his baseball bat, telling me what happens when I fool around with the wrong person, because I am very worried about this game and New England winning outright. And now all of a sudden, all my margin for error on my Patriots under 5 bet is gonzo.
Well, that does segue to me having a pick on this game, which was in also on the over, another over on this game. And what's my weighting on that one, Scott?
4 weight over 42.5.
Oh, wow. Okay. I like that. All right. So, and the thing is, we made a slight adjustment, and that's why I'm a little off, because I had the lines in here. Then we decided, you know what, we shouldn't repeat yesterday's today. So now you're getting even more bonus plays. Here's the rationale with New England. Take a look at the Colts' opponents the last 4 or 5 weeks. So maybe pull those up. And I think what we're going to see is, in aggregate, one of the hardest defensive faced against you're going to see.
Yeah, Texans, Vikings, Bills, Jets, Lions.
All right. So, I mean, maybe that's what? Is that 5 games? Maybe that's 5 of the 8 best defenses in the league? Close.
If the Broncos were in there, that would be be the entire murderer's row.
The Jets have had a bad defensive recently, but
I mean, I don't think there is such a thing as a bad defense recently. I mean, when you only have 17 games, you look at unless there's some fundamental change.
Yeah,
right?
well, they have the worst defense since they fired Salah.
I mean, whatever. That's if you want to say the Jets have a bad defense, you can. I'm not going to acknowledge it as even possibly truthful, but you can think it. But as I continue my handicap, I look at that run or that run of teams and think, okay, this Colts team maybe is a little underrated on offense, maybe just a little underrated. And that combined with, I think Drake May is really good. As I said on the Monday taping, I'm thinking, did I get a little too jumpy with it, a little too quick to think this, but I would certainly give deep consideration to May being the number 1 pick if I had a chance to pick, number 1 in this year's draft that just happened. Yeah, I think he's right up there. He's super accurate. And there's one last thing I'll say, which is New England plays hard. If they are losing, and this is a toss-up game, so they could be losing, they fight back in the 3rd and the 4th. Some of these bad teams give up in the second half. I mean, whatever you want to say about the head coach, he at least has him playing hard late, and that lends itself to points. And what was it? Was it It was this Sunday, right, when they were down, and then they New England. What was the situation? Who were they playing? I'm having a mental block. It was the Rams, right? So
Pats lost to the Dolphins.
Okay, the week before then. Now, how did I can't remember exactly. Did the New England put up some points against the Dolphins late in that game?
Yeah, I think it was 31-0 and ended up 15-34.
So, and Fezzik style doing it.
I like that.
They put up 15 points in.
They scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Okay, and if I recall, because I was watching that game I was looking at the feed of that game for a prop. The week before, it was against the Rams, and they kept scoring late, if I recall. So in general, if I got a team that could get blown out, and they fight hard, I like the over a lot more than if they're just sitting on the ball, because not only does that lead to points from the bad team, but the other team feels a need to score if the bad team's scoring, just to keep their margin. So I do like the over in that game.
I want to double down on your over. I really like this, because if you look at Indianapolis throughout the year, they played a cornucopia of under teams. So they started with Houston, then they played Green Bay, but there was no Jordan Love in that game. That was a Malik Willis game, all right? They played Chicago before Williams knew what he was doing. They played your Steelers, RJ. They played Jacksonville. That's normal. They played Tennessee, another under team. Miami, but that's a non-Tua game, so that's another under team. At Houston. So, bang, you've got like the whole first half of the schedule.
But the Jets are a huge over team.
So, I mean, you've got half the year has been against the stats are depressed big time. They're making the Indy defense look better than they are, and because of that, I would expect more points to be scored.
And just to clarify, Feds, because I just had Tennessee over, thinking that Levis and his wildness does lead to high-scoring games. How do you balance that with, I think you're right to some degree, a good defense on Tennessee? You would tend to think an under team. How would you balance that?
I think Tennessee and Levis has completely changed. He went from a bad quarterback that's throwing pick sixes to a quarterback that's having some success in throwing pick sixes. So now he can throw touchdown passes to his team and the other team instead of the other team.
So the change was he would only throw touchdown passes to the other team.
That's right.
Now it's both.
And you can get this from Richardson in this game, so.
All right. And again, I'm not saying I like the Colts. I think the handicap on the Pats was quite good. Though I don't know, how many points did they score against the Jets? Did they score like 30-some?
I think it was 25-24.
All right, see, there you go. 25-24, that was the 2 games?
They lost 25-22 to the Jets.
Okay.
And,
so 24-25 was inaccurate. Go ahead.
No,
the Patriots beat
the Jets.
They beat
the Jets. Okay.
But only 3 in their first game back when Saleh was still being pushed by him.
And that was Jacoby Brissett also.
And this has nothing to do with you liking Saleh because he used to be the DC for the.
I'm just trying to ingratiate myself to him so he comes back this summer.
I'm really wondering.
Mackenzie already typed up a contract.